The 5 best paper shredders. In the digital world, we count on antivirus software, two-factor authentication, and other identity theft prevention measures to keep our sensitive information safe from fraud. But what do you do in the real world, where you still get credit card solicitations, bank statements, and medical bills on paper? Simple, you buy a paper shredder, like our favorite True Red micro-cut shredder. Robert Siciliano, a security analyst with VPN provider Hotspot Shield, says paper shredders are vital to maintaining a high level of security for your identity. A shredder is an essential appliance, he said, just like a washing machine or a dryer. Destroying paperwork that could be considered sensitive or could be used to piece together an identity is needed in every home and office. With that in mind, we set out to find the top micro-cut and cross-cut shredders that are best, taking into consideration both their shredding abilities and usability. Here are some of the best paper shredders for home use on the market right now. Number 5. GBC Shredmaster PSX10-06 Super Crosscut Shredder. The GBC Shredmaster PSX10-06 is a super crosscut shredder that shreds the paper down to a size of 27mm x 4mm, a shred size that is larger than those produced by micro-cut shredders and smaller than those produced by typical crosscut shredders. Because the strip cuts are still long enough that some text might still be legible, we recommend using this shredder for less sensitive documents. The shredder itself has AP4 security rating. In this shredder, the shredder head sits on top of the bin. While the shredding process is relatively loud, it does not produce a lot of dust. When emptying the bin, the shreds mostly just slide out of the bin as a single mass. During use, we found that the PSX10-062 control buttons were not very responsive. It feels as though you're pressing rigid plastic, rather than a button. Furthermore, in our experience, the shredder only worked when it was sitting in the correct orientation on the bin, and that orientation was not immediately obvious. So, you'll need to closely examine the shredder's manual to figure out which way the shredder head needs to be placed. Number 4. Royal MC14MX Micro-Cut Shredder. The Royal MC14MX Micro-Cut Shredder boasts an 8.5-gallon bucket, largest out all of the shredders we found, and a heavy-duty design that checks in at 34.4 pounds. The front-load slot has a curved guide that makes it easy to insert pages, though there's a delay before the auto-shred sensor kicks in. When I used the MC14MX, it was able to power through as many as 14 sheets at a time, and also easily handled the DVD, cardstock, staples, credit cards, and paper clips. There are negatives though. The shreds, while still quite small, are among the largest micro-cut examples I've encountered at 12mm by 4mm. Once you're done shredding, emptying the bin can be a messy prospect, since the shreds are very statusy and lots of dust is generated during the shredding process. Number 3. Royal 112MX Crosscut Shredder. The Royal 112MX Crosscut Shredder is a great product for those with less pressing security needs. Its small 3.25-gallon bucket can hold shreds from 50 to 60 pieces of paper, and the shreds produced by the 112MX are the smallest I've seen from any crosscut shredder, just 32mm long and 4mm wide. When we used this shredder, it devoured single sheets for 5 minutes without returning an error or pausing. It was able to shred stacks of paper with thicknesses of 1 to 12 sheets without jamming. It even shredded credit cards. DVDs weren't a problem, either, thanks to a separate disc slot, designed specifically for them. Between its brake-equipped wheels and 15-pound weight, it's easy to move and hard to dislodge. A pull-out bucket, something of a rarity at this size, makes cleanup a breeze. Users with kids will appreciate the narrow disc and credit card slots, along with blades positioned at a 90 degrees angle from the main paper slot. Together, they make it difficult for tiny fingers to get in trouble. On the downside, emptying the bin can be a bit dusty, and the shredding noise is slightly louder than what you'd expect from a smaller shredder. Reviews for the Royal 112MX are mixed. Some users were annoyed with its short runtime and light use rating, but others praised its ability to power through thick stacks of paper. Several owners complained about the 1-year warranty, especially in light of some early failures. The Royal 112MX Crosscut Shredder is a great light-use shredder that has a front-load paper slot and generates the smallest crosscut shreds out of all of the crosscut shredders I've tried. Number 2. Fellows 62MC Microcut Shredder. The Fellows 62MC Microcut Shredder is an awesome pick for a wide variety of shredding needs, offering reliable performance and outstanding features. This shredder is able to shred continuously for 5 minutes at a time, tearing through stacks of 1 to 10 sheets without jamming. It won't flinch at staples or a pile of junk mail, including regular paper, stiff paper, and even thick credit cards. There are other pluses to the 62MC, including the pull-out basket has an extra-large capacity of 5 gallons that takes more than 100 sheets to completely fill up. The shreds it produces are the finest among shredders I've used, at just 9mm by 3mm, which makes it nearly impossible to reconstruct shredded documents. The bin is easy to remove, and emptying it into the trash doesn't generate huge plumes of paper dust. I also appreciate the fact that the 62MC isn't especially shrill or rumbly while it runs. The shredder sits on casters with brakes, so it's more portable than its 21-pound weight would suggest, and its sturdiness means you needn't worry about it tipping over on your toddler. The user interface is a model of simplicity, and a safety switch makes operation even more worry-free. The shredding slot is narrow and vertical, which is also great for users with kids, but does require slightly more advanced technique. You can't just toss your pages in. While there have been some reports that the Fellows shredder has a short lifespan, there are many reviews that praise its quiet shredding and confetti-sized shreds. The Fellows 62MC Microcut Shredder will quickly shred documents into teeny tiny pieces and has a lot of features that make it appealing to everyone, even those with little kids. Number 1. TRU Red Microcut Shredder. This was one of the best shredders to shred single sheets of paper continuously, and does so without any pauses or error messages, for 5 minutes straight. This paper shredder is able to shred stacks of paper up to 12 sheets without failing, as well as other items like a credit card, for staples, and a paperclip. The TRU Red 12-sheet microcut shredder lives in the sweet spot in the Venn diagram of makes tiny shreds large capacity, and doesn't make a mess. The waste bin has a capacity of 5.8 gallons and it can hold microcut shreds from more than 150 sheets of paper. This shredder is easy to use. Although it's heavy, it still rolls easily on 4 wheels, 2 of which have brakes. Plus, shredder's controls are very basic. It has a power button, a forward button, and a reverse button, both of which will help to get rid of a paper jam. Plus, the shredding teeth remain clog-free, even after shredding about 50 sheets of paper in 5 minutes. On the other hand, the shredding noise is a bit on the loud side. As for safety features, the TRU Red Shredder has a vertical, narrow slit that is easy to access for shredding purposes, but looks to be too narrow to endanger the fingers of small children. Additionally, this shredder comes with a lock that, when activated, prevents the shredder from turning on at all. We also like the cord management system, which allows you to wrap the cable up tight to minimize tripping hazards. The microcut shreds from this shredder are about 10 mm long and 4 mm wide. While they're not the tiniest shreds we've seen, that's still small enough for you to feel confident that anyone would have a lot of trouble reconstructing any sensitive documents you shred. People who purchased this shredder were pleased with its performance. A couple people found that the shredders didn't work right out of the box, but because it's a Staples product, they were able to return or replace it with minimal fuss. While it's a bit pricey, we think this shredder will make a lot of people happy with its shredding capacity, simple interface, lack of jamming, and safety features.